it's Beauty Junkie. Welcome to my channel. Today we're getting into some Tom Ford makeup. I have the Soleil Eye Color Quad in First Frost. Not a new quad, but picked it up in the Sephora sale, wanted to try it out. And I have the Tom Ford shade in Illuminate. This is a contour and highlighting palette, and I have the shade 0.5. So I'm going to be trying this out as well. This is kind of a cult favorite product. It's a cream duo, and I think it's been popular for quite some time, and I finally wanted to pick it up and try it out with you. So I went through my entire collection looking for all my Tom Ford so I could try to put together a full face, but I realized I'm kind of missing some things. So like I already have on my foundation, which is not Tom Ford, my concealer, but we're going to get into the Shade and Illuminate palette. And I do have a Tom Ford eyebrow product, so that's good. I don't have a whole lot of other things to show you from Tom Ford, but I'm going to use what I have. Before we get into the Shade and Illuminate palette, I want to try out a perfume with you. And this is from Juliet Has a Gun, and it's called Not a Perfume. I got this with my Sephora order. This is one of those perfumes, if you've heard of Eccentric Molecules, they do something similar with that line. It's one of those perfumes that isn't very strong, but it makes you smell good. And this was designed by Romana Ricci. Is a molecular composition, will not resemble anything you've ever tested before. It's made of Cetalox. It's one of their top sellers. It's a good reason for that is that it stands out. So let's go ahead and try this. Yeah, this is one of those minimalist perfumes. If you have someone in your life that wants to smell good but hates perfumes, they might want something like this. I could smell it at first that it just smelled kind of fresh and clean, and now that is dying a little bit. So it's one of those weird scents that makes you smell good without being strong. I know that sounds really weird, and it's really all of these types of perfumes are really hard to describe. This one kind of smells slightly floral, even it's clean but a little bit floral. But it is one single ingredient. I think I've smelled this ingredient in other perfumes, perhaps. It smells great. Interesting. I think this is definitely one of those that you need to smell in person because I cannot describe it. But it's there, but it's not there. Anyway, moving on. Shade and Illuminate. So this palette, you've probably seen it before. This is the contour and highlight. It's a cream duo, and I have the lightest shade, 0.5. And this is 0.49 ounces, 14 grams. Got it 20% off. They have this at like many retailers. They have Tom Ford many places, but it's hard to find this shade in particular in stock. So when Sephora had it, I wanted to pick it up on sale. So we're going to try out the contour shade first. I just have my foundation on. I'm going to use my finger to apply it, and then probably that's what it looks like. It's a little bit muddy. Kind of looks like a bronzer, but I believe it's supposed to be a contour. I don't really know. It says shade, so I'm assuming it's a contour. It's very shiny. So yeah, I'm going to apply with my finger and then buff it out with a brush. I'm like not great at contour. This is probably too much. Placement is a challenge for me. I'm sure like many of you, that's not even. Alright, I'm going to use my brush. I'm using the Wingas number 13. This is what I use to blend in my foundation. That blended in pretty nice. That actually doesn't look bad. It like looks like a natural. It's really subtle. I mean, I could go in more, but I think that's probably good enough for my skin tone. For me, contour, I have darker shades than this. I can definitely overdo it. But contour is one of those like shadow things that you don't really need to have a lot of color to it to get the effect. This is nice. I'm kind of surprised just because it's such a creamy like texture and the color looks a little bit odd. But I think I could do that. Like I could do my forehead, my nose. I don't usually do that, but the cheeks, I could use a little sculpting, so just a little something. I think this, I mean, because the shade is kind of warm, I feel like it could be a bronzer or a bronzy contour. Interesting. So because the highlighter is a cream, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the highlighter, which is very shiny and natural looking. To me, there's not a lot of color to it, but it does have kind of a silvery, really light white sheen. I know you can kind of barely see that, but we're going to try this on tops of the cheeks to see what this looks like. So I bought the Westman Atelier lit up stick, and the texture reminds me of that. I got the nectar shade, but for some reason, like I don't see much color in the nectar, but I see the shine a lot more with this Tom Ford product. It's both really natural, both really creamy formulas. It's just easier, in my opinion, to see the sheen in this cream highlighter than the Westman Atelier one. I'll go ahead and show you what, this is the nectar shade. I don't know, maybe because it has a different color reflect, maybe a little bit more peachy. It just really blends into my skin tone. Can't see the shine as well. Yeah. Interesting. I think this combo is really nice, really natural. If you haven't tried this out, I know cream formulas are all the rage. Something you might want to consider. They do have other shades. Tom Ford has deeper shades than the 0.5. I don't know what those look like. I'm assuming the texture is going to be exactly the same as 0.5. Really natural, kind of foolproof, especially if you use a brush to blend in that contour. Just don't put too much. Okay, so I want to set this with some powder. I don't have any Tom Ford powder, but I do have my new Dior Backstage Face and Body powder, no powder. I have the shade 1N. So I'm just gonna swirl this on before I do the rest of my makeup. I do have a Tom Ford powder blush that I can use with this look. If you don't need powder, you don't have to put it over this area that we just kind of did up. I know sometimes it can be really tempting to just set your whole face, but if you don't really get oily in these areas, it's not totally necessary. But I am going to put on a powder blush, so I'm going to put a little bit on there. And I have, this is the Skin Illuminating Powder Duo in 07 Incandescent. So I'm going to use this as a blush. It's pretty shiny. I don't know if it's supposed to be a blush, but I've definitely used it in that way. But it does have a pretty good sheen to it. It's kind of pretty. I do have a Tom Ford bronzer, but I don't want to like cover up the contour effect. I want you guys to see that. So, but I do have the glow bronzer in Terra, which is probably what I would put with this look. But not today. Brows. I do have the Tom Ford Fiber Brow Gel in Taupe. I don't have a lot of brows. Like, I have some, but they're not dense. I like this product because it gives me a fast brow, but it's not super defined. Any brow gel to me is not going to be a super defined look, but it's like a quick way to get, you know, a full effect. Not like the most pretty, you know, super sharp and defined eyebrow, but this gives really good hold. I like the color of it, taupe. I could probably use a lighter shade right now, but I like this one. If you want to make sure everything's sort of, you know, brushed up and out, you can use a mascara comb, spoolie type of thing. First Frost palette is really pretty. I want to try it out on my eyes with you, so let's do some swatches. Okay, hopefully you can see that a little bit better. This is a really pretty palette, actually better than I expected. Not a new palette, I think it was from last summer, or fall or something. It's called First Frost, but it's a Soleil. I don't really know. But I really like the swatches and how they look. We got a couple browns, a pink, and kind of an off-white shimmer shade there. They are all sort of satin, slightly shimmery. No mattes in this quad here. Super pretty. So let's go ahead and throw on a look. I want to start off with pink shade in the middle of my lid. This is the packaging if you guys are curious. I'm not sure if this is considered a wet or dry palette. It feels like it is, but we're just gonna do dry today. This is like a golden peachy pink. Really pretty and flattering shade. And then let's go in with the lighter brown. What's interesting about this shade, you know, it's a mostly bronze shade, but when you like start to disturb that top layer, it's got some like silver shimmer in it, which I didn't quite notice until I started really digging into the pan. And you can sort of see it on the swatch too. I guess that sort of silvery shimmer is throughout all of these. It makes for a really complementary, you know, sort of shine for all of these shades. Kind of ties it all together. Alright, I like those two paired so far. I'm going to go into the light shade on the inner corner as per usual for me. It's my go-to look. is a pretty light shade. I kind of took it in a little farther than just the inner corner. That is really pretty. Alright, I might be a little bit daring and put the deepest shade on my lower lash line. And blend that out a little deeper than I thought it would be. I'm really liking this look. You can definitely use this as an eyeliner because you can see how deep it is on the under eye. You can pop it up here. Wow, what a really pretty palette. I would say, you know, this is very neutral with shine. I wish the pink was a little bit more pink, a little bit deeper. I mean, it is a very neutral palette, but I always want like a little bit of color, which the pink gives you, but I just wish it was a little bit more pink, I guess. But it is really beautiful. It's just a nice combination. I like this palette a lot. It is kind of exceeded my expectations, I would say. This is my third Tom Ford quad. Nude Dip, I love. The Meteorites one, a little bit disappointed in some of the colors, but this one is great. So I recommend, you know, based on this first look, I mean, it can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. I'm going to put on some mascara. I will do a little bit of eyeliner, not from Tom Ford, and I will be back. Alright, this is the final look, including the Shade and Illuminate palette and the Soleil First Frost, Soleil Neige palette, whatever you want to call it. I really enjoyed putting this together. Everything was really easy to use. I got the look I expected to get. And then for the mascara, and eyeliner, I used the Sicily Photo Coil Perfect Eyeliner in Deep Jungle. I used the Sicily So Stretch Mascara. For lips, I ended up using the Wayne Goss lipstick in Lily, and to top it off, the Wayne Goss lip gloss in Hibiscus. This is kind of a frosty shade, and so I wanted to like continue the frosty look on my lips as well. What I like about the Shade and Illuminate is that this color works with my skin surprisingly. I think it's supposed to be a contour, and it does it really subtly without like making my skin look gray or just odd. Some contour shades just look really weird on me. This blended out really easy with a brush, and I think the highlighter has a gorgeous, you know, really subtle sheen, but it has enough sheen for me to be satisfied. Like, it's not too subtle like some of the other cream highlighters I have. So I think this is a winner, honestly. I'm hoping it doesn't dry out too quickly. I'm not sure exactly how long it's supposed to last, but we will hope for the best. And then the Soleil palette, love the white packaging, goes with my Soleil Glow bronzer. I think all of these performed really well. I would have preferred if this showed up a little bit more pink, but it is very peachy gold, which is gorgeous. I really like the look that I came up with, and I will be using this many times in the future, I'm sure. I think Tom Ford's quads overall are really great, and this is another hit in my book. So that is it for trying out the new Tom Ford products I picked up. Well, new to me. Let me know if you have any questions. Please comment below. If you like this video, click the thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.